Hello, hello, welcome. My name is Jason Day. I'm a product designer at Atomic Robot, and with me today is Jonathan.
Hey everyone, I'm Jonathan, or J3 as everyone at Atomic Robot knows me as. I am a mobile developer, and I'm going to be finishing the second half of the UI for our app, How Many Outs?
All right, all right. Let's jump into it. Today we're going to be working on this screen. It's the batter screen for our Wear OS app. And our last tutorial, we did this kind of menu screen, if you will, so users can go to the batter, the score in the game. Just a note here: our previous tutorial, you could tell that our screens look a little bit different. Based on some feedback we got from the Play Store. Just a couple notes. We had to make sure that the buttons that were tappable did not scroll. So because we have a scrolling mechanism to other pages, and we needed to remove this menu and the title. And these changes will be published in our next Figma published kit. J3, did you want to kind of review a little bit more about why it got rejected and like kind of what we did to remedy that?
Okay, so some of the issues that they found were mainly usability issues with a smaller screen size. And specifically for Wear OS, they have tighter constraints on what is allowed in. So the fitting issue we had were some of the elements are overhanging the screen because we intended the items to scroll to show the full extent. On Wear OS, specifically for Compose Wear OS, which this app's UI is built in, they don't necessarily support nested scrolling. And we were fighting issues with having things vertically scroll as well as having the full content of the screen scroll. So when we submitted it, there was issues with discovering that, oh, you could scroll to the bottom of the review all of the elements without them being cut off. They don't like that, and they prefer you to have each individual screen fit all of the content inside of the bounds of that rectangle or circular watch faces in this design. And so we had to shrink things vertically and horizontally to make them fit nicely so they don't get cut off by the edges. And we've done that for the inning screen, the batter screen, and the scoreboard screen.
Yep.
Another issue was related to font size. Font scaling on Wear OS is a little bit different from mobile, and the user can completely override your default settings to make things get larger. And they want you to also make sure your components don't clip due to that. You can concatenate your text. So anything like that has been fixed in this app, and all the sizes will scale appropriately based off the user's settings. And then they'll just ellipsize. I say concatenate, but they'll ellipsize so they fit within the UI. And that's kind of the expected pattern on it, Wear OS.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Great explanation. Thank you. So let's go ahead and dive into our little tutorial here. So, like I said, we're going to make this batter screen here. We have the time. We have whether it's the top or bottom of the inning. We have the balls, the strikes, the outs, and a way to delete them. So let's go ahead and jump in. And today I'll be using Figma. And what are you using, Jonathan?
I'll be building the UI in Android Studio and using the UI framework Jetpack Compose.
All right, sweet.
And as you're going, I want to get started with my frame, and I'll wait to build the actual UI elements after you explain some of your stuff.
Perfect. All right, so our last tutorial, we did create this header here, so we don't need to recreate that. But we're going to use the circle as basically our canvas, and it's already named, so I'm going to leave that name there. Make sure you name everything that you do. Since we have this component already created, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in here, pull it to the top. And I think I used a plugin to make it round like that. I'm trying to remember. Oh, ToPath. So if y'all ever need to get some text kind of rounded to a shape, you can use that plugin. And I think I showed that on the last tutorial. So let's start by moving this stuff to a little section here. And I'm going to leave that component next to me so we can build this thing a little bit faster, just so we have a reference of what we're building. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to copy all these items that we have, right? And so, whoop, wrong thing. All right, here we go. So we have our text, we have our inning icon, and then we have what inning it is. So I'm just going to select all three of these, put these in auto layout, and we have frame 43. We don't want that. Let's just call it inning for now. And I did Shift A, so basically that's your quick keys for putting it in auto layout, and it's already selected or defaulted to the padding I had. Excuse me, so we're going to keep that in place. And I'm just going to inspect what I did here just to make sure this is what I want. So this is set to fill in this little box here. And let's see, we got, I called it came from a button. So maybe that's what I should do instead, because we created this button. Well, we'll just make this a button. That'll be fine. Here we go. We'll just call it a button now instead. And I think why I did that, so we can do Option Command K, and that will make it a component really quickly. And let's just put some padding on the sides here, 16. That's what we have for our pill buttons. And for now, I think we're going to do 2 at the top and bottom. And I think our pill buttons are rounded, so it's at 100. Let's go ahead and do that. And this should be responsive to a certain degree, so let's make sure this is filling the container. But I did not do that part right for some reason. Oh, because these are set to hug, I see. So let's undo that. Oopsie whoopsie, sorry about that. Go back to hug for now, and we'll close this up. Oh man, there we go. Nope, it's still not listening. Oh, that's what I did. I hit the wrong item in there, the text. Okay, so now we're just going to color this in with, do we have a color on this one here? It's just see-through. So we remove the color from that particular button. What I am going to do is select this icon here, and we're going to go to layer and make a little boolean for it, a little switch, and call it icon. And let's do that for this section here. We're going to call it create property, text right, and then for this one we'll do text left, so we'll be able to just switch these on if we need, on or off if we need to. Text left, there we go. So now if I make a duplicate of it, I can turn all these off if I don't want them, or I can put them all back on very easily. Okay. So that's the start of that. So where are you've been working quite a bit, Jonathan? Where are you at right now?
Okay, so I've gotten just the basics of it started out right now. Let me finish this line and I can show you the preview that I have set up.
Great.
So the first thing I set up was the basic batter view, which is what's going to be displayed in the pager, specifically the vertical pager with the other 2 screens. And then I've set up a preview wrapper, which just defaults some styles that I use at runtime, so I can actually see them in the preview without launching it on a device. I've created a scaffold because it has a nice slot to show the time at the top of the screen, and it gives me a nice representation of what my UI will actually look like on a real device. And then I've just wrapped this in a plain box, and then I'm displaying the batter. And this is what the UI will look like so far.
Oh, look at that.
And the indicator is a little off screen just because I haven't properly centered it vertically.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take care of that.
Looking good though. Nice.
And I don't believe if we've created the inning details in the previous tutorial, but essentially just wraps up the yellow triangle, and it has text on it just to be a little bit more clear and visible to the users.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to jump to my next component here for the balls and strikes. Again, I'm going to do a little bit of cheating because we've already created. Ooh, why do I keep doing that? Someone help me out here. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm selecting these 2 and duplicating. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this guy here, and we're just going to basically recreate this shape to show this. So we have 32 on each side and 10 on the top and bottom. We did have to modify this quite a bit for the Play Store, just to please their expectations of what it should look like. Let's see what our rounded edges are. It looks like it's 12. So we want to replicate that here with that. And I think we have pre-selected colors here. So we have Android Watch Primary. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that color in with Android Watch Primary. And there we go. And what do we call this guy here? This is a, we just called balls. Perfect. All right. And so that's what we're going to name it. And then we'll go ahead and create, I keep hitting that wrong key. All right, Option Command K. Now we got a component. How about that? And so now we're going to make another component because I like to break this down into the smallest of pieces. So we're going to put the balls text with the component together, put those in auto layout. And what did we call that here? Let's see. Number display. Huh. All right. I like it. Number display. And you don't have to name it this. You can name it whatever you like. And I'm going to go ahead and put this as a component again. And let me just double check my padding here. It's 4 pixels. And what do we have here? 3. So let's just change that to 4. Whoa, not that many. We don't need 45. All right. So now we have our ball display. And do you have an update for me there? Looks like you're working quite quickly.
Sure. Yeah, so right now I'm laying out a row so we can display the balls and the strikes here. And a row just lays everything out horizontally.
All right. Speaking of rows, let's go ahead and finish our row. And we can just hit this little plus button and create another one. And since they're next to each other, let's just go ahead and put our components in auto layout with Shift A. And we can just put them next to each other. And we can change the color of this and just go to that error color. I don't know if that's the right color or not. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're going to call this strikes. Oops, if I could spell. So now we have the balls and strikes. So I'm just going to duplicate both of these. I am going to put them in auto layout again. And I'm going to call it balls and strikes. And let's see if I made a component out of this. It looks like I did. And I just called it ball strikes. So let's go ahead and make a component. And let's see what padding we have here. 4 pixels. So we'll do that, make that 4. And now we can put this together with our innings. So let's go ahead and put that in. Kaboom. There we go. All right. How are you doing over there?
So far, I've just gotten the one balls label button set up right now.
All right.
And it took me a little bit of time fighting with the auto import. But I'm trying to match the specifications. So I'm going to give it a 78 dp width. And I've already hard coded the height inside of this composable. So I don't have to explicitly state it here. I could have hard coded the width, but I wanted the width to be a little bit more dynamic. So if we were on a larger or smaller screen, it would appropriately cramp the space, but keep a similar height to the design, so it has good tappability.
Okay. Nice.
And there is a minimum width, so like you can't get too small, otherwise it'll start clipping off the numbers.
Got it. That makes sense. All right, I'm going to style our other 2 buttons here so we can pop them into our design. So again, I'm just going to make another variant here. And did I name this variant? Oh, shame on me. Shame on me. I think I spelled it wrong again because I can't spell. Anyway, let's go ahead and flesh out these other buttons we got going on. And we're going to call this outs for now. We can always change it later if we need to. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete this icon because I don't need it. But I can grab this 16 and 2. Let's see. I think we have a custom height for this because of accessibility standards. So I'm just going to change this to 48. And we got to put this in auto layout. Oopsie whoopsie. All right, there we go. Let's just make them all 24 so they're all even and happy. But for this one, we are going to do that background color. I think we have, there it is. That's not the right color though. What is this? Android Watch Surface. I see. Okay. All right. So now we have our innings, or for our outs rather, and we'll go ahead and name that, and we'll just make this match. Say 0. And let's see what our width is on this. 84. Is this 84? Yep. All right. So I'm going to add one more. Actually, go ahead and duplicate this. You can see it's an auto layout, and it went off the page there, or the section rather. And let's just copy this, put it in here, and we can just delete these because we don't need them. And so now we have this oblong kind of button. But we can fix that just by hitting 48 because that's not going to change. You can see this is off center, so we just kind of get this thing here. And why won't it center? That's unusual. Oh, there we go. I just hit the center button or center option there. So make sure this is 48 even, and we're good to go. So now we'll just put our outs, we'll just duplicate these guys, put those in auto layout because we put everything in auto layout because it helps us as designers. And we're just going to use that same padding for pixels, and we'll put them side by side. And I'm just going to call it action bar for now. We can change it later, but that's just what I'm thinking it is. And we can go ahead and put that in auto layout, or make that a component, and we'll put this on our page. Boom. All right. What you working on now?
Okay, so right now I've added another row so we can show the outs button and then the delete button, or the, I think this is actually a reset button, not a delete.
Oh, okay.
Let me change the comment I put here. Reset button. And I do want to note a change I made here. So here I'm adding an explicit top padding, and that's just because in the design, the outs button is actually 6 pixels below the ball text.
Okay.
And I find a default spacing of 4 because that's what you have in between the ending indicator as well as the balls and strikes label button. So they have 4 pixels in between them, but the outs and the balls spacing is 6. So I want to reuse that 4 pixel spacing from the first 2 items and then add an additional 2 so everything's spaced out appropriately.
Okay.
So I apply the 2 pixels just to this one item and it'll offset it vertically.
Cool. I dig it. All right, I'm going to group all my items together on the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group innings and balls and strikes together. And I'm just going to call it innings plus, I guess, number displays for now. Again, you don't have to use my terms. You can use whatever you want. And then now I'm going to select this one and this one together, put those in auto layout, and I'm going to just call it content for now. And I'm just going to inspect what I did here before, because I usually think I know what I'm doing, but I think I'm doing it a little bit different this time, but I think that's okay. So what is this padding here from the edge? 19. How about that? All right, so let's go ahead and put the padding on this to be 19. We're going to center it and put it all the way to the, is it all the way to the top? Let's see, 2 pixels. Okay, so let's just go up here to 2. And this will be, I think, 6. Didn't you say 6 was the bottom section? So, and this is 4. But I had padding there is 2. Just double checking my work, making sure everything looks like it's expected. And then now we can group these together and we can call it, oh, it would be status, whoop, can't type, status bar plus content, kaboom. And that's pretty much it. We just make it a component really quickly. And what I like to do next, I know this is a bit of a mess here with my components, but we can just make sure that everything is responsive, because I doubt I did that as I was going along, which I should have done. But this will help when you have different screen sizes, to make sure that it's accommodating everything. Yeah, so we just have to do a little bit of extra effort here and make sure everything is responsive. Container. Oh, I think I know another thing I'm not doing here. There we go. This is the part that I was missing. Fill. All right, let's just do fill. Nope. Fill. Okay. Getting closer. Do you have any updates you want to share while I'm trying to work out my responsive?
Yeah. So I've got the UI fully built, and I'm running it on a small watch face. I just briefly showed a demo of it running on a large watch face.
Oh, cool.
But I always recommend when building UIs for Wear OS, definitely build for your smallest first, and then see how that scales up vertically, because it's much harder to design for a bigger screen and then shrink it all down and make it look nice.
Got it.
And this actually shows an example of really large text scaling. So let me show you how to fix that. You want to go into settings, then accessibility, then find text size, and I had it at largest.
That's cool.
So at default is what I initially built it for, but honestly, you definitely want to check it at largest, because they will reject you if things are pushed off the screen because of that. Also, I didn't mention it before, but if you do have things in a list, they can scroll off screen, but they must scroll fully into view, and you have to have a drag indicator to let the user know when they get to the screen that there is more to be shown. Without that, they also reject it.
Got it.
So,
yeah, we went through a lot of changes and meetings to make sure we met all of their asks. It was a great learning experience, actually.
And one last thing to show. So this is fully the UI of the batter screen. And this last thing here, which wasn't necessarily what you're showing there, but it's a dialogue that shows when you've struck out or how many balls you've received.
Nice. Man, that looks good. Ooh, look at that. Wow.
And I just reused the same dialogue for that in outs.
That's great.
And that's pretty much the full entire batter view screen.
Wow. Quick work. We just built a little screen for the watch, just under an hour. So, yeah, if y'all have any questions or, feedback on how we can improve these, I'd love to hear it. I hope you get a chance to download the app and play with it for yourself. Also, we'll have a Figma link so that you can have this kit, just for ideas or inspiration, what have you. But yeah, thanks for hopping in. Any other comments to note, Jonathan, before we close this out?
As of right now, we are using the vertical pager to scroll between the different screens for batter, home, and score, batter, scoreboard, and innings. That's not necessarily optimized for Wear OS. This is kind of uncharted grounds. It was accepted to the App Store, but it seems to be, in all the examples that I found, they usually prefer horizontal. But talking with some of the engineers on the Wear OS team, it seems to be that they are amenable to adjusting that for vertical scrolling. It was something they hadn't considered yet. And to be perfectly honest, with Compose for Wear OS, it's still a work in progress. As I said, nested scrolling isn't supported, but that is something that's been available for the mobile side for many years.
Awesome. Great info. Man, I think it turned out looking really good. And I think it feels good when you're playing around with it. So, All right, everybody. Appreciate your time and hope to catch you on the next one. We'll do kind of a summary wrap up of, kind of our failures and successes with this. It will be less technical and less designy and more just hanging out conversation stuff. So thanks again, everybody. Hope you have a good one. Bye.